Hello guys, welcome to our Azure Learning YouTube channel. In this session, we're gonna see how Network Watcher works and what and all we can do there. That's what we're gonna see in this part. Okay, first of all, what is Network Watcher? See, we know if in today's Azure console, if we gonna create a virtual machines, that Network Watcher would spin by default. But in previous methodology, in previous model, there won't be any options like that. Okay, so we need to configure the Network Watcher by manual. So why we need to configure that? See, the purpose is which would helps us to monitor, and then which would helps to analyze the traffic. Okay, network traffics and all here we can analyze, and it would helps in the diagnostics issues, and then it would optimize the performance, and it would ensuring the security. Okay, so this kind of stuff will be there in the network watcher. In addition to that, that packet analysis, troubleshooting, this kind of stuff would be there. Okay, so what we can do is, now I'm going to monitor my virtual server. Okay, so these are all my existing resource group. So now I'm just going to spin the new one. Just give me a minute. Actually, this glitch in Azure. So in some time, yeah, now it's coming. So here I'm just giving it like test demo rg ram. Okay, and which is going to present on east to us. Or else if you are not comfortable to go with that, means you can pick Central India as well, no problem. Yeah, we can create it. So now we can create the VMs. Just go to this page. Okay, so this two is already there, but it's not mine. So we can create the new VM here. So the test demo origin I'm just taking. So test one, or I'm just going to spin this as two. Okay, so 2 VM I'm gonna spin. So what we can name it like web server, sorry, web server, and then the DB server. Okay, so this two we're gonna create now, and I'm just taking the standard type. Okay, Windows is fine. Okay, so let's define the credential. Okay, credential I added, and then I'm just going to check the routing in this RDP port only. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna check. And the disk, okay, these configurations are fine, and the network, both VMs are going to be in the same network. So yeah, so this RDP port will reflect to both VM, and this time I'm not going to use the network Azure load balancer. Go to the management. Here you wanted to authenticate with the Active Directory, means you can enable this option, but I'm not going to add AD inside. Okay, go to the advanced tab. Here you can find an option called extension. Okay, so I'm just going to install the extension, which is for Network Watcher agent for Windows. Okay, so this one I am going to install. Okay, this one is mandatory to monitor the VM. So it is asking to create. Yes, see, I have added the extension. Like if you are going to do an authentication with Active Directory, means in that time also one more extension would be installed, which is Active Directory SSO. Um, sorry, Active Directory extension would come here. Okay, so rest all looks great. So now we can create it. Okay, per hour I need to pay 7 rupees for these two VM. Okay, so we have configured the servers, and it would configure the network interface, and then it would configure the network security group, public IP configuration file. These things it would create. Okay, so how I can configure the network watcher? As I said, we don't want to create the network watcher by manually. So if we gonna create the VM, it would spin automatically. So we need to wait. Hmm, just go to this resource group. So here one more resource group would, comes like network watcher. See that network watcher RG is coming. So if you are going to check in the deployment process, there you can find the network watcher. Okay, actually here they didn't show, um, but literally it configured the network watcher. Okay, so we need to wait for few minutes. Hmm. Oh, okay. So now it is showing the network watcher. Okay, okay. So generally these VMs would take around 1 or 2 minutes. So after the VM configuration, we'll go and work with network watcher. And also, if you gonna configure VM, means you cannot access, you cannot get all the data, you cannot get the topology information in the network watcher instantly. Okay, so that network watcher would take a few seconds to update, few minutes to update. So you need to check after an interval. Um, yeah. Okay, so still the deployment process is going on. The DB server creation is done. This one is done. Okay, so from web server side, the IP configuration, network security group. Okay, so those things got configured. But from DB server side, only disk got created. The remaining things it should create. Let's refresh. So still those things are not coming. Okay, actually it's not for an network watcher creation. Actually it's for network agent installation. Yes, the deployment, yes. It's for a network watcher agent installation. So we need to wait for some time. I think that installation is done for Windows, uh, that first VM. Web server, DB server got configured. So I think probably this extension would take some time to reflect in the second VM. Okay, no worry. So now we can go to the network watcher and then we'll check the network stuff. See, currently I have network watcher in this East US. You wanted to additionally enable in Central India or any other VMEs, just add it. See, in this blade, you can choose the region where you wanted to place the network watcher. So currently, I'm just having my I'm just having my resource in the East US only. So I'm not going to enable this one. Okay. So and if you wanted to download everything as the CSV means, you can go with this. So now we are ready to go with this topology. Yeah. So our whole deployment is done. So now we can go to this topology and we can check it. See, currently in this two region, I'm having my resources. Okay, so here I'm just going to choose the scope. So scope is, I'm just going to take this test demo RG ROM and which should present on east to west, so that I'm just selecting that particular region. So let's save this. See, I can find only this east to west. So initially they are using a different UI so that you can find everything in a that particular UI. But recently they changed the interface. But no worry, we can find everything inside. So I'm just going to expand everything. See, we have created the network and it created the NIC and it created the IP and everything. But we don't know how the connectivity happens And if it going to show everything in visual basis means which is good to monitor and which is good to troubleshoot. So I'm just going to see in that particular view. See, in this east US region, one VNet is that if you are having a multiple multiple VNet means it would show everything in this box. So I'm just going to expand. Sorry. It's loading. See, inside the web server VNet, I'm having this default subnet. So inside the subnet, I can find some properties. Let's check it out. See, this is my web server one, DB server. So this web server using this network interface and this DB server using this network interface. So if anybody wanted to access the you know if anybody wanted to access this DB or web server means they should allow with this network security group. Okay, so in that time only they can access. Similarly, this web server IP should add in this IP config. Then that IP config would reflect in this network interface NIC card, network interface card. Okay, so after that only that routing would happen. See, initially they would show it in the flow diagram, but now they are using a different flow. Okay, so here we can only find the flow. And if you wanted to, if this view is not comfortable to you, so you wanted to change the view means here itself we have an option called table, so you can find it in this view as well. Okay, so if you are not comfortable with that, you can change it into the previous graph. Okay, and if you wanted to change the resource type to any other resource type like load balancer, or if you wanted to check the bastion connectivity to avoid the jump servers, sorry, you wanted to check the bastion connectivity or CDN stuff means you can pick the respective option here. And you wanted to download the topology means just download it. See, it will download as the SVG file, so just click it and open. You can find the image. Okay, so you can download that as the image. Yeah, so now I'm going to open the next one, which is connection monitor. Okay, just go to the connection monitor. So inside there is no resource to display. Okay, so now we can define the connection monitor name. So I'm just giving it like CMN. And this can be in the same existing subscription and a needs to us. So here I'm just going to define the target. Okay, the first source is going to be our web server. So just open this VNet. See, this is our web server. So I'm just adding the endpoint, and here I'm just adding the destination. Okay, destination is going to be the DB server. So that I'm checking here, and we can add the endpoint. And I'm just going to check the connectivity. So that connectivity is going to be on 3389. Okay, so it's just a demo. So far that I'm using the same RTP port, and here I'm just giving threshold as 3, and I'm just giving 3 seconds in the round trip. Okay, so here we can define the test configuration name. Test config one. Okay, so all things are looks good. So now we can add the test configuration. So here we need to give the name. So I'm just giving TG test group. Yeah. So and then workspace can be a default one. So no worry. And if you wanted to redirect any alert to someone, means you can check this and then you can define the alert. Okay, so all things are looks great. And monthly I need to pay $0.3 for this routing route. Okay, so if you wanted to download the template, that itself we can find the option. And just see this web server virtual machine network watcher extension. Okay, because while creating the VM we have configured this network watcher extension, so that it's showing like okay. Okay, if you didn't configure the network watcher extension, it won't work. So yeah, so let's go to the connection monitor interface. This would take some time to reflect in this protocol. Yeah, portal. Now it's showing, see it's showing like indicator minute like that. It's showing. Okay, once this one got checked the connectivity, means it would comes into the past state. Okay, so if there is any, if there any routing issue, if DB server, if web server could not communicate to DB server, means it would throw an throw output in this fail bar. Okay, fail session. Okay, so generally this would take some time. So for every 30 seconds it would check. So just go to the port. There we can find the topology image. We currently it couldn't display because still the testing is going on. So once all the test is done, means we can find the topology image here. And also if you're gonna update the connection monitor routing, means um, that would take some time to reflect in this topology interface. So what we need to do, we need to wait for some time. And yeah. So still the creation alert is going on. Creation alert, sorry, create alert, it asking. If you need, means you can check it. Okay, so and then the traffic analysis, IP flow verification, like many things are there. These things we'll discuss in the part 2 video. Okay, so we'll wait. This would take some time. Still it was in the intermediate. Okay, see, now it's come to an past state. So let's go to the CMN and go to the target group, and there we can find the routing path. See this, it would show the topology. Yeah, see the routing is going properly to VMware web server to DB server. And you can check this uh, for virtual network peering mode as well. Say for example, you can place one server in one particular network, you can place one more server in another network, then you can expose the peering and then you can check the connectivity. But that would take more time to reflect. So you know, once you configure the setup, you can enable this routing. Because if you gonna update this CMN, okay, so that would take more time to reflect the flow here. Okay, so that's why um, while configuring the steps, you should ensure all the connectivities. So to verify, to double verify, you can enable this CM. Okay, and then further few more things are there to discuss in this network watcher, like traffic manager, sorry, traffic analysis, VPN routing, like some things we need to discuss here. These things we'll see in part 2 video. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I'll come up with one interesting topic on next part. So thank you everyone, and then don't forget